So what we have here is a Common Core recommended primary. So this means it's recommended for primary use here in the state of Utah. Literature and writing, or English language arts curriculum that's aligned with Common Core.
For first graders.
This is for first graders, so 6-year-olds. I have a first grader. Let's just look at what is this about? What is the purpose of this? You'd think this is about literature and writing. That's what it says on the cover. You flip open and it says, the central question, and in the Voices Democracy theme, students use their voices to advocate solutions to social problems, that they care deeply about it. They're engaged in learning the following theme-related social knowledge and skills. And then they list them: social role models, social advocacy, respect, and so on and so forth. So,
well, that is important for a first grader.
Yeah, right, is to learn how to be an advocate for social.
Yeah, right.
You're kidding.
My 6-year-old does that all the time.
Right. She looks what's wrong in the world and says, how do I organize my people in my community to fix these social problems? Well, the teachers are shown how to teach them how to do exactly that. One of the first things that they teach the 6-year-olds is how to use emotional words. Now, I have to tell you, my 6-year-old already knows the emotional words because she's. We have emotional conversations, but it's not what they want. They're looking for is, here's the instruction to the teacher. Tell students that when they write a call to action, they should include emotional words to get the readers to feel so strongly about the problem that they want to do what is being asked of them. This is not Community Organization 101 for college students. This is English Language Arts for 6-year-olds. So we give examples, and they're very effective at this. So here's the example. Why did the writer use the word refuse instead of will not? Refuse is a stronger word that makes the ABC company sound as though they are hard to work with, which may make readers angry with them. So, I don't know, are we teaching the 6-year-olds to kind of play fast and loose with facts in order to persuade and get the job done? Why did the writer say we could be without a part for months or even years? And this is the conversation to have with these 6-year-olds. By stating the worst that could happen if the company builds houses, the writer appeals to the reader's feelings of anger. So we're teaching the 6-year-olds to stir up anger and fear in their readers in order to accomplish the social.
Do you think it would be fair to call this indoctrination?
I don't know what you call it. I call it astonishing. It's recommended here in our state. Goes on and on, talks about how to do emotional words. We should look at some of the workbook stuff on how to learn to use emotional words. Again, this is from the same curriculum. So the child is to read each sentence and to choose the emotional word or phrase. So here's one. My mom always, tells me to clean my room or nags me to clean my room. And of course, you're supposed to circle the word nags. That's the correct answer because that's the emotional word. Of course, as a parent, I take issue with the whole question itself because it marginalizes parents, to use the vernacular.
Yeah, it's astonishing. It's unbelievable that adults actually, may have actually reviewed this material and approved it. It'd be somewhat less astonishing if they didn't review the material and approved it.
So they're very thorough in this approach to teaching these 6-year-olds, and it's not just the 6-year-olds, it's the 7-year-olds and the 8-year-olds and the 9-year-olds and all the way through high school, but starting them in first grade to be social activists and to stir up emotion, not to teach with logic, but to stir up emotion to persuade others. So we've looked at the goals, and we've looked at some of the workbook exercises on how to use emotional words to manipulate people. Now let's look at some assessments and some homework activities. So, once again, this is a script for the teacher to read. Teacher says, think of a school-oriented problem Think of a school-oriented problem and present it to the class. And then, in italics, the school needs balls and jump ropes for students at recess. Okay, so they've identified a social issue. Now the teacher says, we're going to write a letter to parents about our problem. And you can see what the whole rest of this says. We want them to help solve the problem. We need parents to understand our problem. So we're going to use words that make them feel how important it is to help us. So now they've taught the kids how to stir up emotion, they've taught them how to use emotional words, and they're going to try it out now on their parents. And so write on the chalkboard, write anger, fear, and joy. So you write the sentence, the children have nothing to do during recess. Now, remember, the sentence is for your parents. Now, how might a parent feel when she reads this sentence? And discuss the feelings, and especially discuss how the parents might be upset or angry by the sentence. And that's the whole purpose of the assignment, is to put all this stuff in practice. Again, these are English language arts, Common Core aligned materials, recommended primary in the state of Utah. Give them practice with emotional words. Feelings often cause people to act. As I read this and as I learned the strategy and how the writers apparently of this material want people to communicate, I'm starting to understand now why in social and political debates now we just talk past each other. Is because I think there's...
Look for emotional words.
Yeah, I guess at least that's what appears to be happening here.
Amazing. Approved for use in Utah. What's this book?
All right, so this is for third graders. But one thing I noticed as I went through third and fourth and fifth and sixth and seventh grade is they all had this similar theme, where here for literature and writing, in the literature and writing class, the purpose and goal that's stated is that they want teachers to be measuring attitudes, beliefs, and dispositions, and they actually give them a rubric and a chart for tracking that.
What?
Yeah, and again, this is approved for primary use in the state of Utah. So we have a student observation form. Just zoom in on that. A student observation form on the assessment handbook is an informal assessment tool that notes growth and change in individual students' behaviors and attitudes.
Wow.
And so in the rubric here, does the student effectively use the first person plural, we and our, to advocate ways to solve social problems? Are they learning how to do that? And again, the rubric here includes things like, do they understand and know when something is unfair? Do they recognize social problems? Do they work with others to solve group problems? Again, with changing behaviors and attitudes. And those are the stated goals here for the Zainer Blaser Voices, Literature and Writing.
Whiteness demands...
It wasn't that you called me white.
Let her speak, please!
Look
at your point. Whiteness demands that statement.
And that was hateful.
I'm not trying to be aggressive. I'm not trying to be aggressive. If you see me, I'm a black woman with hair, long hair, it's fine. I can't go anywhere without being a black writer or a black politician or a black person with a book bag. It's fine, right? But you can't be black. You're white. You're a man, right? Okay. So the man in the blazer, whatever. When you come to the rescue of another older man at the head of a historically, prestigiously white, exclusively white institution who's had a history in the economies of slavery and genocide, being that this school was founded on Native Americans. I'm not trying to school you, I'm just trying to read your interaction with the rest of this room, which is predominantly of color, right? So when you come to the rescue of another white man from the scary brown people who are demanding justice, right? That it's problematic, right? And so for you to come to us and tell us the way change happens, we're not purporting to know what change happens, but we are brave enough and courageous enough to take hours out from our day to come and maybe be met with rejection, maybe not met with rejection, right? And be fine with it, right? Because that's how conversation gets started. Also, I would like to acknowledge the fact that whatever has been happening for the past 2 years I feel like a lot of the results have come from a constant pushback from students like this, right? The protests erupted, not only a lot of conversation, right, but forced the institution to deal with itself, right? There has been a 14% drop in applicants because students like us refuse, when we get emails to tell people who are coming to Dementias to come to this school, refuse to do it, right? When we're asked to host students, we refuse to do it, right? So there is a weight that these students carry, right? Because they are also a part of the institution. So the rape thing that the amendment to the COS process that recently happened, do not believe would have happened without students constantly pushing back and reminding the institution that it is not doing enough, right? So when you come at us, when you come at our lives for speaking, what you're saying is be silent because I have something to protect. So I want to ask you, what are you trying to protect?
Can I respond?
Yes.
Okay. So I'd like to respond first of all by just saying that I'm not totally opposed to what you guys are doing here. So you don't need to attack me for that because I'm not against what you guys are doing. I'm just saying, yeah, okay, so just so we have a collective agreement here, I'm not against what you guys are for. A lot of the things that you guys have in your budget are very legitimate concerns, okay? And I think a lot of the Dartmouth community is concerned about it as well. So that's not something that we need to, like, I don't know, I feel like I was yelled at from multiple different angles and it just made me feel uncomfortable to begin with. No, that's not what you're trying to do. You're not trying to alienate people. You're not trying to do that. So just let you know, like, I've come here to try and like help you guys and to help the institution to migrate towards, you know, a healthy environment, a healthy culture on campus. And just because I'm white and just because I'm a male does not exclude me from wanting to make progress, okay? I spent 50 hours this weekend from Friday through today working on children's standards for kids in Peru because I care about culture and building it from the ground up, okay? So, alright, you think that's funny? Do you think that's funny? Do you think that's funny? Because I don't. I think that's a very serious thing. I speak 2 different languages. I speak Chinese and Spanish. I'm starting to learn Russian. I'm pretty culturally adapted. I've probably spent about 6 to 10 months in foreign countries doing a lot of missions work. I care about people of color. I care about white people. I care about everyone. I'm not a hateful person, okay? I think that the reason I came here today after listening to the radio and what you guys are producing online is that what happened here and what was happening when you guys were talking with President Hamlin is it didn't sound like a conversation. It sounded like we are attacking you and we are trying to bring you down instead of we're trying to bring you up. And there's a huge difference between pushing someone down and pulling someone up. It's something that...
Should I be inflating his white privilege? Like,
Right.
that's my question.
I'm not talking about...
But like, where
Okay.
to take him? Because it's like, I think this is just a matter of like opening up the conversation. I think offering up suggestions and being like, so where are you at with following up with the suggestions is not pushing someone down.
Okay, so apart from that, just listening online for the last like while, okay, what I've heard is some things that sound very hateful and maybe, you know, I don't think that hate is what we're all trying to accomplish here. None of us in the room are trying to accomplish hate, right? Is anyone trying to accomplish hate here?
Could you give an example, please?
You're yelling at President Hamlin. If you want, have a conversation with him. Don't.
What was hateful? What was hateful? What was hateful?
It's a hateful tone.
So Scott came in after watching online for 45 minutes. I've been sitting in the room for 45 minutes, but I haven't spoken yet. So one thing I just want to make, because the freedom budget is a list of recommendations, a very solid one at that. One recommendation I would make is that when we let others speak, that becomes a dialogue. When you guys were talking to President Hamlin, I saw him being very respectful. He never once cut you guys off.
He cut me
When
off.
and you just cut me off. But when Scott came in the room, and he first started speaking, and I don't know Scott, I know his name because he said it to the room. Scott, not a white man, but Scott, a person, a student here at Dartmouth. He spoke, and he was cut off 3 times in that one sentence. A young lady in the corner, when she was speaking directly to President Hamlin, she said, it's all you. And I know she meant it because she said, it's all you. It's all you, it's all you. She said it 3 times. But as he started speaking, she didn't let him speak for the next 30 seconds because every time he opened his mouth, he was cut off. I believe in what you guys are doing and I really respect the respectful voices in this room. But at the same time, please, let's have a dialogue, not a debate.
What's wrong with the debate? I don't want to speak, but I'm just listening.
Can I say something? Hi, I missed the first part of this. Just in response to what you said. Like the fundamental basis of this entire gathering is that some people on this campus have more power than other people on this campus. President Hamlin has more power than me, not just as an authority figure as president of the college, but also as a male, also as a white person, also as an adult. I mean, I'm 18, but let's be real, right? So granted, like, it's polite not to cut people off. It's polite to hold discourse, but polite discourse doesn't always change things. When your voice is always silenced by those above you, you have to make yourself heard. And I don't care if it's rude, I don't care if it's disrespectful.
Female politicians have been vastly successful. Look at the percentages. What's the percentage?
Hillary Clinton.
What's the percentage
Naming
of
couple names
female?
does not change the fact the percentages. Percentages.
Yeah.
Percentages are really important here. How many women are?
Well, in 2012,
One
the
in
biggest.
10,000 people were women that ran a country, and now all of a sudden women don't look at it as a feasible option.
They're encouraged from a young age.
If they wanted to, they could.
No, if they're born and they say, I want to be the prime minister, like Kim Campbell got in on a technicality and she was gone within 3 fucking months.
The Prime Minister of Australia is a woman.
So
You're naming one.
Well, no.
So how many
Well,
countries are
what
there?
about,
How many
the
countries
one
are
from
there?
Britain?
And how many countries are women
dude,
ran by women?
Fucking
Just take it down a notch.
Okay, how many
we're just
countries-
having,
how
we're
many
just having
countries
an
are run
interesting.
by
You're saying
women?
that there are none.
Okay.
And okay,
None
gold in my ear.
next to none. They're the same fucking thing.
Well, no, that's just like 70% is a majority. I mean, come
Okay,
on.
okay. So how many do you think percentage-wise since the beginning
I
of
don't
time?
know.
And Canada was Campbell for fucking 3 months.
Okay, well, there was gold in my ear, and believe me, history is not my thing, but there was gold in my
so
ear.
it's what, like
but,
1
but
out of
let's-
10,000?
The Prime Minister of Australia is a woman. There was Margaret
like
Thatcher, and of
Has
course.
there women in politics does not change the fact that there aren't enough women in politics. It's not equal.
So, what are you doing to get more women in politics? Why don't you run for something?
I am against the government in general. I am not going to run for politics.
Well, then, what's the problem?
I do think it points to a deep problem in our system.
I like how you come here telling me to lower my voice, and then
Well,
you
I'm
come
just
in
trying to
with
have-
this little sarcastic, snarky attitude with a fucking camera,
Well-
and you tell me I'm the one being aggressive.
Well, you are.
You're the one being passive-aggressive with the camera in my face, trying to make.
Do you want me to turn it off?
I'm just saying that, like, if you want a real conversation where we're just speaking,
Well, we
then you have to
are.
drop the fucking sarcasm, and you have to close the camera and listen.
Do you want me to turn off the camera?
And drop the fucking sarcasm.
Well, dude,
Let's go for fucking coffee.
It's like,
I would love to, but you know, we really are supposed to go to this meeting and actually maybe afterwards get some coffee.
Very depressed, like very mixed up. I was telling people I don't even know what to do with the glass. Like, I've never been in this situation. Do I just sweep it off? Do I need to put it in a certain receptacle? I don't even know.
All the professional goals, thus minimizing their learning potential as their traditional marriages end. The assumption... I'm reading, fuckface. I'm trying to fucking... I'm letting everybody else hear it, okay? It's not just for you, Mr. Entitled. The assumption that wives should make babies instead of money is part of the patriarchy. That's right. Feminists...
Something that you've actually heard of.
Derailing for dummies. The author. Everybody's here. Here's the author. Derailing for dummies. A what? Derailing for dummies. Because he doesn't like to actually stay on point. He likes to derail. Okay, that's first.
You made a statement. I said, where's it on our website? I asked a question. You made a statement. I asked a question.
This is what we're talking about. In general, like, I'm not talking dogs that need to be trained, that need to be put on a leash.
Well,
Publish
did
it.
she say
Publish. We don't accept this. You know what? I don't have a shit if that's actually related to you.
Rape is horrible, and we don't tolerate that sort of thought at UFT.
We're not super interested in talking to you, first of all, but basically we're here to shut down an event that is promoting the patriarchy.
You're doing it really well. Good job.
Very frustrated. I was studying all today, and I took time out of my studies to come here. I'd like to ask him why he's here.
I'm not sufficiently convinced that I'll receive an answer that isn't what I presented.
To
of my friends committed suicide, and I want the peace of understanding why that happened.
Wow. When did it happen?
It happened about 2 years ago. It was one after the other like that.
Did you expect to get some addressing of suicide issue at the talk here?
Yes, I did.
What I have to ask on that, and I'll ask you, is why this space to talk about that. There's like feminism, for example, offers lots of spaces to talk about mental health issues, talk about depression, both in men, women, and people who don't identify within the binary.
I think everybody's voice should be heard. I wondered why the security was trying to keep me back, and I think it's for my own safety.
This is what men's rights look like! 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 Yes, you're fucking stoners! Fuck you! You're fucking kidding! How do you sleep at night, man?
So you believe it's hate speech, right?
It is.
I've never heard of him before. I don't even know what he's. I've never heard of him before.
We invite you to educate
I just want, yeah. So I just wanted to listen to him. I just wanted to see what this guy is and what he's talking about. But now I can't get in.
You should be fucking ashamed of yourself. You're fucking scum. You are fucking scum. Fucking rape apologist, incest supporting, woman hating, fucking scum.
Is there someone else that can wait to
Fucking scum. Yeah, just another.
I just want to listen to someone else's opinion. I'm not even on a side here. I just listen to as many people as I can.
You know what though? Why would you pay money to fucking support a fucking rape apologist if you weren't fucking one? Well, it's fucking scum. Yeah, you should be fucking proud of yourself. These are the fucking men that are gonna rape your sisters and women in your life. Be fucking ashamed.
Somewhere there should be for all the world to see a statue of a fool made of stone, an image of a man who let love slip through his hand and then let him stand there all alone.